Welcome everyone to Tyranny. Tyranny is a game made by Obsidian Entertainment, who has great titles under their belt. Name a few: Knights of the Old Republic 2, Fallout New Vegas, and Pillars of Eternity. And this game has also had a full production time like Pillars of Eternity, so you're going to notice it has very few bugs. Unlike Knights of the Old Republic 2 and Fallout New Vegas, which had a pretty short development window and was full of bugs. But it was those games are less buggy than a few other companies that have full development time of their games and are still buggy even in their remix. Skyrim. Alright. This is also published by Paradox, which are known for their great grand strategy games as EU4 and Stellaris, to name a few. Sorry, I'm blanking on the names. It's like, oh man, I know these games. They're right on the tip of my tongue, but I just can't say them. Alright, so what is Tyranny? Tyranny is a game where you are a fate finder and you're judging people and deciding the fate of the land that has now been recently conquered. Or is mostly conquered. It's not fully conquered, but it's getting there. Tyranny is a game about evil has won. So it's a what if scenario if Hillary Clinton had won the presidential election. Okay. The politics, jokes aside, let us get into the game. And of course we're gonna go with hard.
For over 400 years, the armies of Kairos the Overlord have swept across the known world. All who stood against them fell before their might. Even the Archons, women and men of immense power, were forced to kneel, chained to the Overlord's will. Now Kairos' final conquest has come to our corner of the world, and two of the Overlord's armies compete for the honor of taking our lands. The elite disfavored, and the teeming horde of the Scarlet Chorus. The voices of Nerat, spymaster and archon of secrets, guides the fierce and undisciplined masses of the Scarlet Chorus. With each battle, the Scarlet Chorus grows stronger, as the defeated are given a simple choice: serve or die. Graven Ash, Archon of War and the Overlord's most loyal general, leads the disfavored. Though small in number, Kairos' ironclad legion has never met true defeat in open battle. Watching over the two generals is Tyranny, the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice, eldest of Kairos' minions. Tyranny brings Kairos' laws to newly conquered lands, aided by the Fatebinders, judges and executioners of the Overlord's laws. You were among the youngest of the court of Fatebinders when Kairos' armies came to our lands. How could we have known that the fate of thousands would rest in your hands?
Alright, so I have a general idea of what I want to make my character. So I'm going for a dual-wielding assassin mage class. There is no classes in this game, it's all skill-based like Skyrim, which is pretty cool. I like those type of RPGs where you use abilities and they level up naturally, and leveling up gives you XP over the course of it. So it's like an Elder Scroll, but it's top-down view. Okay, yeah, Did pick the right skin color. So let's first go with the hair. And being an assassin, I'm not going to have very long hair. My character wants my hair to be out of sight, kind of, as hair would get in the way of an assassin. So let's go with faces. I think I like this face the most. Yeah, that was the face I chose. I've gone through a lot of the character progression, starting aspects, to see what I wanted, just so I can get this video up and going ASAP. We are a lawbreaker. Accused of crimes you most certainly did commit, you stood there before Tunon, the advocator Archon of Justice, and argued your case, well, eloquently, and convinced and impressed by your logic, reason, and confidence. He found you guilty anyway. It is rumored Tunon selects many of his agents from his prisoners. Who better to catch the wicked than those versed in such ways? In his mercy, Tunon offers you a choice, 2 sentences. Decades language in prison or a lifetime of servitude, or a lifetime serving him in the court of fate binders. The choice was an easy one. Instead of seeing the inside of a cell, you were trained in letters, numbers, and magical... Ugh. Let me start that over. You were trained in letters and numbers, magic and war. The laws that you once broke are now yours to interpret and enforce. So since we'll go an assassin mage, we're going to start off with dual wield. As you can see, we get an axe, a bronze axe, and a bronze hammer. We're going to go with slice since, you know, we're going to be a little messy assassin. Instead of a bunch of quick, furious attacks, we're going to go for a strong, meaty attack and hope that the enemy bleeds. As our magic, we like the school of entropy, where you basically sap the strength of your enemies and give it to yourself. Now I have the mind. I did pre-order the Archon edition, so I do have these 4 banner things unlocked. I can go with the Judge's banner, the Disfavored, the Corsair, or the Overload. I'm going to go with the Overload. And our primary colors are going to be green and black. Maybe. See, I don't like how... the primary color looks like it goes more for the outside of the armor and stuff, while the secondary has more color in the whole outfit. I don't quite understand that. I think these two should be switched, but oh well. And as tradition on my channel, Davana. Alright. I'm going to go with, 12 of the main stats. I mean, I have 4 stats. Now, these I'm going to bump up because they're really hard to actually level up at. These skills, all of these, you can level up through combat. These, on the other hand, you have to level up through certain actions. Well, not parry and dodge, you can level up through combat. But the subterfuge, the lore, the athletics requires more of you having to work in and get your hands dirty through cutscenes, well, not cutscenes, but dialogue options and certain special events. So we'll begin this way. And yes, we want conquest.
All the world has fallen to Kairos. And now the Overlord's eye is on the Tears, our home. The last corner of the world free of Kairos' reign. 2 armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kairos a century prior. In the early days of 428, Kairos' armies arrive at the Gates of Judgment, the mountainous border that we Tearsmen so long believed unassailable. Unable to agree on a unified plan of defense, the various leaders of the Tears sit and wait for each other to deal with the conquerors, until it's too late.
During the conquest, you will decide your character's actions during Kairos' invasion on the Tyr. So yeah, here's a little information about Kairos. Everyone seems to know the name but knows very little about Kairos, as you can see from the information, other than Kairos is a pretty powerful mage, and you'll see that here in Conquest. Shaping the world through which you will adventure over the course of the game. Each choice you make affects your character and how major factions of the Tears respond to you. Your decisions matter, choose wisely. So we're always going to start off with the Bastard City. The Bastard City stood on the northern borders between Kairos' empire and the Tears, built upon a natural harbor at the crossroads between realms. The city was a nexus of commerce. To the Tears, it was the center of all wealth. To the northern, it was little more than a backwater trading post. Its symbolic status as a gateway to the conqueror. Let me try that again. To a northern, it was little more than a backwaters trading post. Its symbolic status as the gateway to the continent made it a natural first target for Kairos' military conquest. Circumstances were ideal for you to provide your worth as a soldier in Kairos' army. Take the city would send a message to the rest of the Tears. Kairos' will is insurmountable. So basically, this one you can do a battle, but since I'm a rogue and a assassin, I'm going to go with the stealthy approach. History would remember that the Gates of Judgment as the first battle of the conquest, but the real combat unfolded with advanced units of both armies preparing for the coming war. The Disfavored and Scarlet Cross each had planned to infiltrate the capital. Which army did you join? I joined the Disfavored, lending your skills to the elite Disfavored scouts to capture border garrisons. Grave Ass insisted that an early victory in the offense would boost the morale of his troops and diminish the halting overconfidence of the Southerners. You could also go with the Scarlet Crusade, but this is pretty much means you're just going to be ransacking and slaughtering all the villagers, and that's not a very good strategic thing to do, because that's going to hurt you in the long run. So we're going to go this. So the Earthbound Scouts identified the most border defenses and collaborate in a organized attack that would leave the enemy uncoordinated and cut off from aid. You oversaw the preparations and offered your opinion on the strategy When the clashing of the swords and spears fell into silence, followed by the cheering of the disfavored scouts, you were the least surprised. Alright, so I'm getting a little hoarse and my reading's not really that good, so I'm just going to show it off. So we're going to take the insider agent. So you can pause here for a minute to read everything that's going to go on. Now we're going to bribe a captain of the guard to give us their military secrets, their plannings, and all that sort of stuff. You know, critical information. It's definitely better than this one where smuggling people into the city. Nah, we don't even need that. So this captain of the guard thought the city was corrupted and needed new leadership, so they were very willing to help us. So, how are we going to take the city? We can do it this way, and we basically challenge the commander to a duel, which would give us this wonderful little defensive trait. We could cause a riot and an uproar inside the city. This is, of course, a offensive magic spell, or we can go with being a assassin and just doing assassinations will give us another defensive ability. I like this one the most because it's kind of my class style. I'm an assassin. Why not go and assassinate people? So, as this says, I did some great assassinations. Some were overlooked, others were so devastatingly terrifying that when the armies came to march, the people actually opened up the gates and let the armies walk in and just bowed down. It's like, okay, we're yours now. So we didn't even have to fight. I just scared them into surrendering. So now we have a choice of two. This one is more of a offensive combat style, and this one is more of a subtle approach. We're gonna go with this. So this is a forge that is providing great amounts of iron for the armies. So give you a chance to pause here and read this. Alright, so we got two options. The Cult of the Siren. Don't really see this as being a roguish thing or a mage thing. This one I do see. Okay, so basically what's going on is that they're trying to start mass producing a ton of iron weapons and armor, but they need people to guard their smiths as they do their little forging stuff. So you can read this. I am going to go with the disfavored, and we're going to have the beastmen give us a hand in guarding our mages. The Scarlet Cross. The disfavored doesn't like this idea. They want the Scarlet Curse to guard the mages, but you know what? When you are conscripting a bunch of farmers and peasants, they're not going to make very good guards. And the reason they don't want the beastmen to do this is because they are afraid that the beastmen will learn all special magical traits of creating superior iron weapons and armor. Which I don't think the beastmen can do that. They're kind of barbaric and tribals. They're beastmen after all. They don't wear armor, and they don't use weapons. They use their claws. They don't really care for this type of knowledge. So I don't see them being a threat to us. Why, if we'll attack, the beastmen will be able to defend the place better than a bunch of peasants with pitchforks. So as you can see, the disfavored didn't quite like this. They're still afraid that the beastmen will learn of all magical ways, but they're beastmen. So here we have a bunch of mercenaries wanting to be hired to guard. We already got the beastmen guarding. We don't need mercenaries. But the pick of the armory. Ooh, here we go. So I get to decide whether where I will distribute most of the goods. I can distribute the goods towards the disfavored. I can choose it to the Scarlet Cross. Or I can choose to give both of them equally 50-50. I'm going to go with the disfavored because, like it says, it's Kyros's Legion, Elite Iron Legion. Alright, so they basically will be able to be very effective at killing stuff with this. Why, if I give it to a bunch of peasants and they die on the battlefield and they lose the battle, that means the enemy now has more weapons, more armor. And I don't want to give that stuff to the enemy. And giving it equally, I'd rather make the people my character believes is going to have the better chances of winning a battle to take the majority of the metal. So even giving it to the best of the Scarlet Crusade would be a waste. Most of them can't even use more than a pitchfork effectively. So yeah, it's kind of a good decision, like it says. So even though I said that no mercenaries, the Scarlet people. Man, I'm just butchering the Scarlet Course. Okay, the Course people's leader did hire the mercenaries, and the mercenaries did injure one of the mages. He's now unable to craft weapons anymore, and you know, I'm gonna have to punish the Scarlet Crusade, Scarlet Cross. I keep wanting to say Scarlet Crusade. World of Warcraft reference. Sorry, getting my games mixed up because they're the ones who caused the problem. So I'm giving the Forge to the disfavored. Now, each one of these are a different type. This one is for if you like to be aggressive military fighting, you want people to end up... you want a good major battle. This is your way. If you're more of a knowledge seeker, which my character is, this is the way to go. And everyone knows an army marches on its stomach, so taking over the food source would be very good. Hang on. Alright, sorry about that. I forgot to close my curse, so someone I've been playing League with wanted to call me. Even though I'm not in a League mood, I'm in a Tyranny mood. Alrighty. So here we are. Here's the information about the Knowledge Library. It is a very powerful place because it contains a ton of knowledge. Let us begin our conquest. So here's the Siren of Songs. She is trying to convince the mages to join us. Since I am a judge, and I have to interpret the law and execute it, these guys have actually broken the law, so I'm gonna have to punish the disfavor. So they're not gonna like it, but they did break the law, and I have to punish them. So a group of spy masters have came to the disfavored. They claim to be loyal agents of the the voice of no, right? And I've already forgotten how to pronounce his name, but you know, I'm gonna say that because they are bound to one of the lords, he should regain his troops. So here we go. So he's probably ate the mages. He tends to eat anyone he gets as a captive, and this basically means that all their knowledge goes straight to him. Unfortunately, the disfavor have disliked my ruling over the city and has left the battle, so I'm forced to burn it. But I am going to give them no option to prepare because I don't want them running off and becoming a rebellion. So we are going to burn the city with everyone alive. Well, the library. The third option is pretty much always going to be the same for all the outcomes. No matter what you pick, you can. I've tried it around with some of the things, and it's like choosing option A, choosing option B on the same decision on both options, and going through it all. It seems to always have the same effect. You're always going to end up burning this place. So give you guys a chance to read this. I'm going to scroll down slowly so you can pause it when you need to. And I like my option, so let us begin. I like this. Gauntlets will change how much unarmed attack damage your character would do. So if you're wearing no gauntlets, you're just punching with your bare fist, you're going to do the minimum amount of damage. But if you're punching with iron gauntlets, you're going to be hurting people because, you know, punching someone in the face with iron is going to hurt. Maybe you might even add some spikes to the gauntlet so they can do some extra bleed damage as you puncture their face. This loading's taking forever. In fact, this might be a good place to end this episode. I will come back when the loading ends. See you guys next time.